सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So Om itself would have been a prayer, but he makes it a longer prayer, Adi Shankara. Om Namaha. Namaha, a term of surrender, a term of invocation, salutation. Namaha, and that which qualifies Namaha will always be in the dative case or the fourth case. Namaha unto whom? Mrityave Namaha. Namaha unto death. There are many reasons to say Namaha unto death, correct? Yeah, because it's a force. It's very interesting that his beginning invocation is to ending, is to the Lord of endings. There is the beauty of it. And so, when you say Namaha unto death, what happens? You surrender to death. And so what dies, let it die. That's what you're saying. And that means what? What doesn't die emerges as the truth of yourself, which is not subject to death. And another paradoxy of the Upanishad is that one which takes away everything is telling about that truth of oneself which can never be taken away. So the Lord of mortality is teaching about the immortal. This is a beautiful paradoxy. And Adi Shankara is playing upon that paradoxy or highlighting it by showing how the beginning is, is being built on an ending. Is built by surrendering to that ending. And here, when you surrender to the end, there is a pun there. You're surrendering to the end, which is you, which never ends. So you begin by invoking the ending of doubt, of samsara, of sorrow, of destruction, of all that is mortal. Let it end. Take it away. He mrityu, mrityave namaha. And to be certain that we understand that he is not talking of, any old death. He is talking of death in the form of Lord Yama. He qualifies mrityave, fourth case, with another fourth case word, which is in apposition. What is that? Bhagavate. This is Bhagavan. We are not talking of just some devil or some, entity on a worldly entity. We are talking of that Bhagavan who represents all ending. And I invoke you to help me end this samsara in the form of your teaching by assimilating your teaching. And I invoke you to help me write this Bhashya, this commentary to this Upanishad. I am invoking the endings to make this beginning. And not any ending. Ending in the form of Bhagavan, Bhagavate. Bhagavan, the one who is equipped with 6 bhagas, 6 virtues or virtuous attributes or qualities without limits, in limitless measure. The one who is equipped with this is called Bhagavan. And we saw that in the Bhagavad Gita. All knowledge, all resources, all vairagya, all dispassion. And that is 3, all balam, strength, and viryam, the ability to create, sustain, and resolve the universe. And then jnanam, overlordship, aishwaryam. These are six bhagas. So here it's clear he's invoking the teacher of the Upanishad as Bhagavan, which gives us an understanding of what needs to be done in order to be in right relationship with this teaching. Because in the teacher, seeing Bhagavan means seeing only the subject matter of the teaching, not seeing anything else. This is what is being, because you may look at so many there may be so many things in the teacher. The teacher may be picking the teeth during the class. The teacher may have some uncouth habits or some annoying mannerisms. The teacher may be just doing something that of course the jiva sitting in front may disapprove of. This is just for a joke, but it is true. There is certain truth to it. But then, what am I here for? I am not here to write a treatise on the teacher or the personality of the teacher. What I am here for is to transcend my personality by invoking Om, the Purusha. And so, part of the study involves being able to transcend the personality of the teacher. Yeah, this is where this is what makes the difference between gaining of the knowledge and gaining of more doubts. Yeah. So, but why should I overlook the teacher's personality? Because you are trying to overlook your own personality. And you have to begin somewhere. It's easy to begin outside rather than within. So you put yourself in the school of transcendence by first practicing transcending the personality of the teacher. And that's why he says Bhagavate. And very interesting, because this shows how to be in right relationship. Because the pull is to want to deal with the personality of the teacher alone. Yeah. Because that's the inner child, or that's the jiva to jiva connection. Because when you meet someone, what do? Who are you? What's your name? Then what's the next question? What do you do? What's the third question? What do you like? What do you hate? This is how people get married on the computer. List a set of likes and dislikes. All ragadvesha. These match.com and these, singles.com, doubles.com. I don't know how many sites are there. And all these sites, these are the same people that make fun of our arranged marriage system, and they hand over everything to a machine. At least we deal with astrologers. To an inert machine. At least we deal with astrologers and we see Bhagavan in astrology. And we leave everything to Bhagavan. We invoke there also. Om Namah Bhagavate only. But here you list all the likes and dislikes. You say, I like movies. I like these kinds of songs. And I don't like this. And the computer, puts your profile up and then matches you randomly with people in the neighborhood. Yeah. But why do you have to? Because you are an introvert, you never go out. And so the other person also that you're going to be attracted to also stays at home. So how are you going to meet? Therefore, computeraya namaha. And then you just, write all your likes and dislikes. And then you meet and then you say, oh, you're just like me. How wonderful. Let's get married or let's go out. Let's start, dating. And then let's have a relationship. First, the relationship is an relationship. Yeah, without the R. Yeah, everything is, oh, you're just like me. Oh, you hate the same things. But then what happens? You grow, correct? You grow out of your likes and dislikes. And then the person is like a, like a shoe that keeps pinching. Yeah. All the time, constantly a thorn on the side. This is what it is, because you cannot monitor their growth. You have grown out of certain likes and dislikes. And so what do you do? So this is why this computer thing, doesn't, it's not this match.com, it's very different. The same people will criticize the arranged marriage. Is this any different than arranged? At least there we leave it to Bhagavan. The horoscopes date in the astrologer's house. They spend a few days together and they see if they are matched up or not. And the matching is not on the basis of likes and dislikes. The matching is despite all the likes and dislikes, what do they have? What is there? You know? So that is why here one learns to not give, because this is the general orientation, is to get to know a person as a friend by knowing what makes them tick, by knowing what do they do, by knowing, what are their favorite things. There is one song, these are a few of my favorite things. Yeah, sound of music, yes. So there is that song. And why do you need your favorite things? Because when the dog bites, when the bee stings, or when you are feeling sad, you simply remember your favorite things and then you don't feel so bad. So then, to get to know the teacher also there is the same pull. What do I have in common? What does teacher like? What does teacher doesn't like? What does the teacher not like? All these things, because this is the whole jivik glasses through which the teacher is seen. And if you press the teacher like a used toothpaste tube, perhaps the teacher will cough up what they like or what they don't like. Okay, that's the hope. And supposing that happens, how do you benefit from knowing that the teacher, is a idli-holic, for example? How do you benefit? How do you benefit from knowing that the teacher cannot get enough of idlis, let's say?
Cooking for the teacher.
Huh?
If you're cooking for the teacher.
Not a good excuse. So, nice try, however. So, what are you going to benefit from it? You're not going to benefit in any way. Oh, I also like idlis, teacher also likes idlis. Big deal. It's going to keep you in a holding pattern. Yeah. Because you have not been able to transcend the personality, to see that non-separateness of the teacher and the teaching. That should be the only way to gain the knowledge. Otherwise it becomes a holding pattern, or sometimes if it's innocent, like, idli-holic, or otherwise it could become something that comes in your way of learning if you're irritated by it. Yeah. So that's why in this opening prayer, Adi Shankara gives us a way to see Lord Yama, to see Nachiketa. And why should we see Lord Yama and Nachiketa? So in so doing, we are in right relationship to our own teachers, our own givers of knowledge, so that the teaching situation is not wasted. I mean, so much time one is spending here sitting, day in and day out, and you can you're free enough to spend the time however you want. You can count all the problems of the teachers. You can say, oh, this is a problem. And then you can count the problems of the parampara and say, oh, that teacher also did this. That was an annoying habit. His student did that. Her student also did that. This teacher is also doing. The whole parampara is flawed. The lineage has this horrible pattern. It's good for a PhD. Yeah, that's what it will get you. And you can write a book on it. It will sit in a dusty library. And that's all. Nobody reads PhD theses. No one reads. Who reads? Even the people, except the 4 people on your committee who are paid to read it, even they don't read it, all of it. So this is the situation. So therefore, I learned to see. So he could have just said Om Namo Mrityave. No. Bhagavate Mrityave. This is what it is in the 4th case. These are all words in apposition, because the Namaha is directed to all the 4th case words. Not 4-letter words, 4th case words. And so the only reason Bhagavan is put there is because he is in a teaching situation. He doesn't present himself as Bhagavan. He presents himself as a celestial, as we will see. But in Adi Shankara invokes him as Bhagavan only because he is in the position of the teacher. And in so doing, we know how to see the teacher, and how, what we said earlier in the first class about keeping the Shraddha intact is to always connect to the person of the teacher. Because when you connect to the person of the teacher, there is no disagreement, no fear, no disturbance. If you are disturbed by the teacher or the teaching, that means you have stopped connecting it at the level of the person. Something needs to be interrogated, some homework is needed. And so, one more word is in fourth case. What else? Yeah, that is later. But one more word qualifying Lord Yama is in the fourth case. Which one? Vaivasvataya. One more word. Vaivasvataya. Lord Yama historically is the son of sun. Sun is Vivasman. The son of the sun. S-O-N of S-U-N. So Vivasvan, Vivasvataha, Ayam Vaivasvataha, Vaivasvata means progeny of the sun or belonging to the sun. This is the mythological part. That's why he's invoking that also. Because Lord Yama presents himself as Vaivasvata. And his wife also. They were very friendly and on first name basis. Calls him Hara Vaivasvata Udakam. They are on first name basis. Bring water to wash Nachiketa's feet. She also calls him Vaivasvata. So, in a way, so he presents both the person, which is in the how the teacher has to be seen, and also the self-referencing of Lord Yama by himself as Vaivasvata, and the historical mythological figure of the son of Lord Surya, Vivaswan, and then the brother of the current Manu. Yeah, because when we say the almanac, Vaivasvata Manvantare, they are all from brother of the ruling Manu. Who is the ruling Manu? Well, you see, there are 14 Manus who have a abiding influence, abiding presence in the Hindu almanac. 14 fellows, all of them called Manu are there, and to distinguish we have all these this Manu, that Manu, and Vaivasvata Manu. And why should I know that there are 14 Manus? Because each period of this ruling Manu, is in human years, I think, the sum total of the 4 yugas by one calculation, plus 81 years. Don't ask 81. I suppose that's the human years. I don't know. So each yuga is various. I mean, Kali Yuga, for example, is 432,000 years. Only. And then Dwapara is twice that. 864,000. That's why it's called Dwa. And then Treta is 3 times that. So 432 into 3. And then Sat is 4 times that. And Kali Yuga, mercifully, is the shortest of the lot, but the worst of the lot. So now you add 432,000 plus 432,000 twice, plus 432,000 3 times, plus 432,000 4 times, and then plus 81. That is called one, Manvantara. By one reckoning. Yeah. By another reckoning, they have made it easy. And they say that every Manvantara, every one Manu's life is 306 years. 306,000, sorry. A few zeros I left out. Zeros don't matter, right? Yeah, 0. So, this is the few, 306,000 years is one Manu's life. And then the prophecy is that 14 such Manu's lives is equal to one kalpa. Big deal. Why should I know what a kalpa is? Because at the end of it, everything goes bye-bye. Swaha into Ishvara. And then everything comes out again. Oh, this is now a little troublesome. For us we don't have apocalypse. We don't have that. Yeah, we don't have that. We just have a little break because Ishvara needs to have coffee. And when the jivas are all plummeting and, beating each other up, Vishnu is very busy, correct? Yeah, taking care of everyone's karmas. So when the karmas go, Ishvara can, sit and enjoy the coffee. Also, coffee also goes, but this is just for fun. So, just for fun. So, this is just a little break from the cycle. So, the creation comes in cyclical ways. This is a break from the cycles. For 4 yugas, make one, what is that? Mahayuga. And then, I don't know how many Mahayugas make one Manvantara, and then 14 Manvantaras make a Kalpa. This is by one reckoning. Oh, but then we are in a Manvantara, yes. But then when will it come to an end? Don't worry. Because we are in the 7th one. We are right bang in the middle. Because there are 7 more Manu's lives, and reckoned by either reckoning, whether you say 306,000 or whether you say that astronomical, figure in trillions, quadrillions, we have a long way to go. So relax, breathe. So this is Vaivasvataya. So unto the and why to invoke him? One more reason to invoke him as Vivasvan's sun is that the sun always shines. And Vedantins have left with, I feel sorry, because we have such few metaphors. Atma is like space, or Atma is like Jyotihi, sun. That sun is likened to Atma. No other metaphors. Either you take fire, sun, or you take space. Nothing, what else? It's not like anything else. Sun, because it's always, there is no place where it doesn't shine. And when it shines, there is no place for darkness. So similarly, in the light of this knowledge, there is no place for ignorance. That's why the metaphor of the sun works. And the sun always, the blessing of the sun is to light up all those areas which need to be loved up, which need to be driven out, whatever it is, And so here Adi Shankara appears to be invoking the sun, so that it has that, effect of showing the truth of myself. Then Vaivasvataya Mrityave, one more word. What else is in 4th case? Qualifying Yama, Brahma Vidyacharyaya, Acharya, teacher. And that goes with Bhagavate, same thing. Acharya, teacher, from Ching, Chagane, plus A, completely. Ching, to collect. To collect? What does a teacher collect? So, first, Acharati, it's also from Char and Ching, both roots are there. First from Char, Ching I will explain in a little while. So Char, to move, Acharati, Asamantat Charati, the one who moves freely and only in the Shastras. So the teacher walks from Upanishad to Upanishad, jumps. Kena, Katha, Mundaka, Katha again, Mandukya, Titiri. Acharati, the one who, just moves in the world of the Shastra. And there is a certain kind of a beauty in it, but then the teacher can be moving everywhere, from ball to Upanishad. No, one who moves mainly, primarily in the garden of the Upanishads, taking in the beauty, the fragrance, disseminating the beauty and the fragrance. That is what is called Acharati, and then another meaning of acharati is the one who moves with mindfulness. Acharati comes from achara, So acharati has again two meanings. One is the one who moves in the Shastra, you can take, and the one who moves mindfully. How to move mindfully? The ones whose occupations are in line with the teachings of the Upanishad. Occupation here means conduct, behavior is in line with the teachings of the Upanishad. See, you cannot teach about Shama Dama with a straight face. If you don't have any, right? It puts you in an awkward situation. Yeah. So that's what it is. So the teacher here means the one who has already is mirroring the Upanishad by being non-separate from its purport, and the one who moves from Upanishad to Upanishad, the one whose conduct is in keeping with the kind of conduct the teacher should have or the student should have, whatever the conduct for the knowledge elucidated by the Upanishad. Acharati. Then you take Ching Chayane, Chinoti, the one who collects the gems of the Shastras. The teacher also has a collection of the Mahavakyas. People collect stamps and coins and some baseball cards. I don't know what all these children collect. And then sometimes people go to McDonald's for Happy Meal, to become unhappy afterwards. If they don't get the favorite toy that comes with it, they collect those toys. The teacher collects the Mahavakyas. The teacher is a walking compendium of the Mahavakyas along with the meaning. The teacher is a concordance of the Mahavakyas. So Chinoti collects and showcases the Mahavakyas. Then Acharati, then finally Acharyati. Acharayati causes other people to move. The ones who come into contact and the ones who have submitted to the teacher for the knowledge, the teacher by their very conduct or by their teachings cause the ones that have surrendered to them to also move with that same grace and in keeping with the words of the Upanishad. So not only is the teacher's conduct in keeping with the Upanishads, the students' conducts of this particular teacher are also in keeping with the Upanishad. That is the beauty of the thing. And that is why, when you go to an ashram, you don't have to meet the teacher sometimes. You see the people around and you get an idea of what the teacher must be like. Yeah. So, this we see sometimes, it takes going sometimes far away to see this. And the force of this was, because when I go to our ashrams, we very preoccupied with the teaching, so much things to do or busy there. So I don't have time to just interact with the people many times other than in a teaching situation, or I'm there briefly just for a visit, and then so there's not much time to observe. But then when I went to Japan, there was this group of people who were in charge of hosting us. They all belonged to some new Buddhist sect, and they belonged to that. And there were people from Australia who had been called to put on this event. There were people from so many places, Japanese, non-Japanese, everybody was there. And the way they took care of all the religious leaders, and the way they were there, and the way they had so much care. Even the culture itself is like that. So much care is taken, precision, and the order is so important. It is very beautiful. But here the way they took care of each and every person, not a single stone was out of line. And the teacher, their teacher I saw once. She was nowhere to be seen. And that is the beauty, you see. This is what Charayati causes one to move in certain ways, primarily by example and also by teaching. by highlighting the connection between, for example, the preparedness and the knowledge. And then when you see, there's nothing more beautiful than to see the students and to understand the greatness of the teacher from seeing the students. It was fantastic. So that is Acharya. And this is not any Acharya of dance, music, cooking. What kind of Acharya? Brahma Vidya Acharya. And there is an elision because of the Sandhi, Brahma Vidya Charyaya. One A is enough, Otherwise the jaw will pain. Brahma Vidya Acharya. Acharyaya to say. So Brahma Vidya Charyaya. So don't let's forget that Brahma Vidya also has a long A. Acharya has also a long A. Both have long A's. So the Acharya of Brahma Vidya, the teacher of Brahman, the teacher of the knowledge, that is Brahman. You cannot say the teacher of the knowledge of Brahman, because Brahman is knowledge. Brahman is all knowledge. Brahman means what? Brahma Vidya is that knowledge which evaporates the subjective tears and fears of samsara, where you feel, where you see that everything that you thought was just a subjective projection of the shadow child which was hurting for love and attention. That's all it is. And so that is the teaching really. And so this Brahma Vidya, the one who is able to wield, because he or she was taught by his or her teacher, so the whole parampara is here. And then Nachiketa said, Cha, because without Nachiketa, how would we have gotten this knowledge? Let's say Nachiketa and Lord Yama never had this conversation. Then what happens? We would not be having this conversation. This conversation is predicated upon that Upanishad, which itself is a conversation predicated upon the presence and the desire for knowledge on part of the student called Nachiketa. And also generally students are not invoked in an invocatory prayer, but Nachiketa, as we will see, has distinguished himself as a student. So in invoking and saying Namaha to the student, I hope to have his kind of studentship in learning this Upanishad. This is what is Adi Shankara's blessing. So Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya Mrityave Brahma Vidyacharya Nachiketa se Cha. And even though the Cha comes, Nachiketa is not an afterthought. First comes who? Teacher. Then comes who? Student. So it's just an order. Yeah. So this is the opening, and very beautiful opening. Atha Kathopanishad Valvinam Sukhartha Prabodhanartham Alpagrantha Vrittihi Arabhyate. Atha means thereafter. Also another Mangala Suchaka. See, he is wanting so many prayers. I told you Om and Atha. Both he has used. It's a nod to, it's a nod to the cycle of, one more thing is coming. Yeah, it's a nod to the cycle of creation, which begins with Om and Atha, because we are talking of the resolver here. So, when I invoke the beginning, and of course I'm invoking the Lord of all endings. You see, beginning plus ending is the whole thing, is samsara. So the whole cycle is included, out of which one wants to run away from and, come out of. So that is what the whole thing is. So Atha, Pan, now, thereafter, and also Atha, more Mangalam for us all to study this. So Atha, now what is he going to do? He says, Kathaka means the branch of the Yajurveda called Kathaka Upanishad. So the branch of the Yajurveda which belongs to the Kathaka branch, this Upanishad which belongs to the Kathaka branch called Kathopanishad, and that's the ka, the adi vriddhi is for that belonging, you know. Yeah, so and so Kathaka Shakha, that which belongs to the Kathaka branch, this Upanishad, Vallinam, Vallis means these chapters. Valli actually means a creeper. The chapters are called creepers in this here because they keep growing. That's why. The chapters are called creepers because they keep growing, and then where do they keep growing? On me. They keep growing on me. It's such a beautiful thing. The more I study, they keep growing on me effortlessly. The creeper doesn't, take permission. Okay, should I go on this bamboo pole and wind myself, or should I go this way? It doesn't need. It just grows. Wherever there is place, it grows. So may the knowledge also grow like the creeper and to take over the whole mind, the surface of the mind. That's why it's called Valli. Beautiful. Another reason why it's called Valli is we need a feminine noun. And the Upanishad is mother Shruti, so Valli. Very nice. So Kathopanishad Vallina. So for the Upanishad Vallis, these chapters, of these chapters, for their Sukha Artha Prabodha Prabodhana Artham, for the sake, Artham, for the sake, Prabodhanam, Prakarshena Bodhanam, for the sake of understanding of what? Artha, the meaning. See, there are two arthas. One artha, the last one is for the sake. The first one is what? Meaning. And then Sukha means for the sake of easy understanding of the purport of the Vallis of this Upanishad. Alpagrantha, this small booklet. Yesterday we were punching booklets, correct? Yeah, so like that, this small booklet. And this is his modesty. And he doesn't even call it Bhashya. We are calling it Bhashya. He says it's a vritti. It's a little note, an afterthought. Vritti means thought. A few thoughts in the form of this booklet, is being commenced. Arabhyate is being commenced. Clear? Say yes. Yeah. Then Sadehe Dhatoho Visharana Gati Avasadanarthasya Upanipurvasya Vipratyayantasya Rupam Upanishad iti. Yeah. He starts from the beginning. He says, let us look at the word Upanishad. What is this Upanishad? He says, you take the root verb in Sanskrit called sad. Actually, it is sadi. It's a kind of a habit to call it with a syllable e for ease of understanding and to make it into kind of a noun. When the root verb, the primal sound of Sanskrit, there are 2200 such sounds. They are not verbs, they need affixes, either pre or suffix, prefix or suffix, to make it into a word as such. But out of these sounds which have some arbitrary meanings assigned to them, you get nouns, you get verbs, you get to make adjectives, adverbs. The whole language depends upon these 2200 primal dhatus or sounds which have certain meanings assigned to them. So even though when you bring it into the realm of the grammar, it is shadl is says, and the r is an indicative letter which indicates certain operations, so that you leave. It's actually shadl. But to refer to it as a noun, the sound itself is made into a noun. It is given an e, at the end. Sadi, madi, like this. And so, when you say sadi, we know that we are not trying to conjugate sad here, but we are referring to that noun which is that root sound itself. So this is called ik nirdesha. So sometimes this unconjugated sound, when you want to refer to it as a noun, you add an e and then you decline it, like hari, sadehe, harehe, sixth case, And then there is another way of doing it. Then you conjugate it in the third person, like guhate, guhati. Guhati means what? Hides or is hidden or something. Guhate he, then you make that already has an e there, but actually it has a t. You have added the tip to it. So then that you make into a noun and you add different declensions. If this is not making sense, don't worry. Just this is for people for whom it is making sense. And so don't worry, you're not missing anything. Just listen. So then this is called tip nirdesha. So that together the two are called ik stipa nirdesha. It's just a way of referring to the verbs as though they were nouns. Sometimes you have to nounify the verb, and there are two ways of doing it, through ik, e or ti. Okay? Anyway, so that's a little aside, a big aside. So sadehe, for this root verb called sad, and then what he says, it has three meanings. What are the meanings? We'll look at them in Sanskrit first. Visharana, gati, avasadana is the three meanings. Artha is meaning here. So, three meanings it has. The word, the root verb sad has attributed towards it has three meanings. What are the meanings? Visharati, visharanam. Visharanam, disintegration, dissipation. And then what? Gati, in the sense of being led, in the sense of going or being led. Then avasadanam, also destruction. What is the difference between disintegration and destruction? Dissipation and destruction. That which is dissipated can come back like the fog. Fog was there in the early morning. Sun came, fog went, and by evening what happened? Fog came back. So Visharana, disintegration. Fog also disintegrates. Fog also dissipates. But then it is accompanied by what kind of Visharanam is given by the word avasadanam. The same verb means that. Avasadanam means destruction without a trace, uprootment, the uprooting totally of this is called, avasadanam. So these are the three meanings. What are they of sad? Disintegration / dissipation, a sense of leading, and then an uprootment. So the word Upanishad is formed by the word sad, he says, which has these three meanings, and then it also has two prefixes. What are they? Upa and ni. Upani purvasya. It has upani in the beginning, and sad is the root verb, followed by quip. What is this quip? Quip is a grammatical suffix which makes something into an agent, which agentifies a word. So don't think, okay, quip, ka goes away, then what remains? Rashakvatadhite, ka goes away, what remains? Vip remains. And so where is this vip in Upanishad? Here there is another sutra, quip is replaced by zero. But that zero is, there are three kinds of disappearances. In the Paninian grammar. Pratyay of the suffix. Pratyayasya luk shlu lupaha. And depending on the type of disappearance, even though the quip goes away, its effect stays, a certain disappearance. Lopa means disappearance, it's not there. But then look and shlu, you know, you have to look carefully, that's why it's called look. Yeah. And, you know, there is a ghostly remnant of the effect of the suffix. Here, that is the case. So the effect of the suffix remains, but the sound of quip you will never be able to see. That's gone through the grammatical operation. Quip is equal to 0. But then what? That 0 is a qualified 0. That 0 is actually a hero, which makes the Upanishad into a hero as the agent of destruction, the agent of uprootment, the agent of disintegration, of samsara, and the agent that takes you to back to yourself, Brahman. It's the quip. And why is it called quip? Because it equips the word Upanishad with the status of being an agent of this knowledge. See, now you'll never forget quip. What does quip do? It equips the word with being the agent of the knowledge. That is why it is quip. The suffix is called quip. Even if you don't know Sanskrit, you'll never forget this. So, Upani Purvasya. So, we have, he just takes apart the word. It's reduced to the brass tacks. The word Upanishad has sad as its main sound, dhatu. The pre-verb is sad, which is at the bottom of this word. And then that sad, you know, which has the meaning of destruction, dissipation, destruction, total destruction and leading, which seems to have two prefixes. What is the prefixes? Upa and Ni. And then one suffix. What is the suffix? Just now I said you will never forget. Yeah. Please equip yourself with this memory so that you will never forget what quip is. So, what is the suffix?
Quip.
What are the prefixes?
Upani.
Upani. What is the word? Shad or sad. Yeah. So, sad becomes shad under certain circumstances. And shad means to shed. Yeah. So, Upanishad. That which makes the ignorance shed. That is what it is. That which is equipped with the power of making the ignorance shed. Upanishad. You know, this is how the word is made. See, you can enjoy it in English too a little bit. Not fully, but little bit. So this is what he says, is that this is the makeup of the word. So he takes it apart and then, you know, he says, Quip pratyantasya rupam means this is the formation of the word. And then he says, he goes further. He says, still a lot to say about this. I don't know whether to do that now or to go. Let's go further. We'll come back because there is still tomorrow. Okay. Upanishad Chabdena
Upanishad Chabdena
Cha
Cha
Vyachikhyasita
Vyachikhyasita
Grantha
Grantha
Pratipadya Vedya
Pratipadya Vedya
Vastu Vishaya
Vastu Vishaya
Vidya Uchyate.
Vidya Uchyate.
Yeah. So, he says Vyachikhyasita means desirous of unfolding. Vyachikhyasita. That which was desirous or that which is desirous of unfolding. What is that? This Grantha, this book called the Upanishad, known by the word Shabda Upanishad. Upanishad Shabdena. By the word Upanishad, that book which is desirous of unfolding, Pratipadya Vedya Vastu Vishaya. So that which is desirous of unfolding and that material which we are desirous of unfolding, we have to take it that way. That material contained in the Upanishad or referred to by the word Upanishad, that we are desirous, that he is desirous of unfolding, or he is saying, I am desirous of unfolding. And then what? That is being taught here in the form of knowledge, just the basic one, then we'll see what all it qualifies. That Upanishad is being unfolded, whose words we are desirous of unfolding in the form of this book. And then this is Pratipadya, that which is worthy of being unfolded, Vedya, that which is to be known, that which is unfolded, and the matter which is to be internalized, Vedya Vastu, that Vastu, that truth which is to be internalized, that topic is called Vidya. This is what is called knowledge. So he says, what is knowledge here? You know, the knowledge is the Upanishad. What the Upanishad has to say is the knowledge, and that which I am desirous of unfolding through this booklet is the subject matter of this Upanishad alone, and that which I am trying to show here is that which the Upanishad itself is showing as the only thing, the Vastu, which is to be understood and internalized. This is just the translation of this, you know. So, why does he say that? Because a few objections will come up starting tomorrow. And he says this because he wants us to know, he wants us to understand that even though the word Upanishad has an agent noun at the end, Upanishad means the one who destroys, the one who takes you to Brahman, the one who disintegrates. This is Upanishad. So even though there is agency involved on part of the word is not separate from that which it unfolds. So what is the subject matter? Upanishad. What is the one who takes you there? Upanishad. What does the Upanishad teach? Upanishad. That's all he's trying to say. Yeah. Like if you have a book called World History. What does World History book teach? You know, yeah, not the history of Raipur, for sure. You know, it teaches about world history. So therefore, this is what he wants us to understand, is that there is a non-separateness between Pratipadya Vishaya and then the Pratipadaka, the agent of this Pratipadanam, which is the Upanishad, and that which is to be understood are one and the same. So even though it's an agent, it's an as though agent. That's why the word quip is used, the suffix quip is used, because the agent is as though missing. It's a agent by inference. So too Upanishad as the remover is an agent of the removal, but it itself is the removal. Yeah. It's the agent and the raw material. Like same thing, if you call the cleaners, you know, the cleaners will come and they will bring brushes, they will bring cleaning solutions, and the bleach is not the same as the cleaner, correct? Yeah. Yeah, you cannot say that, you know, I am the cleaner and I am carrying the bleach, I'm non-separate from the bleach. Nobody will be alive to say that. So therefore, the bleach is separate. The bleach is what the cleaner uses to operates with as a karana, as a upakarana, to clean out the surfaces which have mold, etc. And the mind, which is molded into its habitual patterns, to clean that out, the Upanishad has come, you know, and the Upanishad does not bring its bleach and its cleaner and its squeegee and its, you know, sponges. No. The Upanishad is the bleach. The Upanishad is the sponge. Yeah. It's both the agent and the material, whose subject matter, whose understanding is enough for these things to be removed. And this is also very important to understand, because after the study of the Upanishad, there remains nothing to do to take care of this. You know, you don't even have to wash out the sponge. Nothing. Yeah. Because everything, all the, what is that called? Avidya, the wrong understanding of myself is expunged. So there is no need to wash out the sponge, there is no need to dry out the sponge, nothing. It's all gone. There's nothing there. So an agent which is also the subject matter, the agent and the material, there is no difference, no distance. That's what he's wanting to say. Because in other acts of, in other actions, whether it's cooking or cleaning, the agent, the cook is not the garam masala, correct? Yeah, the cook is not the cayenne. May behave like that, may be short-tempered. Whoever comes may growl at them and send them away. But the cook is not cayenne. The cook cooks with cayenne. Yeah, the Upanishad is the cayenne for samsara. That's what it is. You sprinkle the Upanishad on top of samsara, samsara visharati, avasadayati, avasadanam of samsara takes place, visharanam of samsara takes place. And what is left is Brahman, to which you are repatriated. So this is the whole thing. And of course there's a lot more to be said, but I will stop here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Hari Om.